everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy White. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if this is the first time you're checking on my channel, kindly hit on that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. So in today's video, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew a shirt dress, and we're going to be using a free hand in cutting this shirt dress that we'll be making today. So I have this fabric here with me. I'm going to be using it in making this shirt dress. What I have here is 3 yards of this fabric. So I have folded my fabric into two. This is what I've done. I folded it into two. Because this is a shirt dress, we are going to be cutting the front part of this dress first. So I have some lines here that I've marked. So this line I have here, this is the chest line, this is the waistline, and this is the hip line. So the length of the dress I'm working with is 56 inches. So now the other thing I did is that I went ahead to mark out the button allowance. Yes, our shirt is going to be having a button allowance of 2.5. This is 2.5. We're going to be folding it to get our button allowance. So after getting the button allowance, we're going to be taking our measurement. So this is going to serve as our shoulder line. This line here is the shoulder line. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to take the measurements. The first measurement we'll be taking is the shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is 15 inches. So watch what I'm doing. I'm not going to be taking my measurement from this point here. No, because this is what a button allowance that we are going to be folding in. So what I will do is to take my measurements from this line that I have here. So now I'm going to place my tape this way and take the 15 inches. 15 divided by 2 will give us 7.5. This is 7.5. So I'm going to be adding half an inch for joining on the shoulder. Half an inch for joining. So that will make it what? 8 inches. So I will come over to the chest line and take the 8 inches. So after doing that, I'm going to be connecting what I have here. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be coming down with 1 inch. So after coming down with 1 inch, we're going to be taking the neck width. So the neck width I'm working with is 2.5. 2.5 for the neck width. And the neck depth, I'm going to come over to this place and take what? The same 2.5 for the neck depth. So the next thing I will do is to connect what I have using my free hand. I'm going to be connecting what I have here. I'll go ahead and connect the shoulder slope. So after connecting the shoulder, I'm going to place my tape here on this armhole line. I'll divide what I have. So after dividing it, I'm going to come over here and mark what? 0.75. 0.75. This is 0.75. Then I will take it upward this way. This is for us to what? Tighten the armhole. Then I'm going to be connecting what is to the chest line with my curve. So this is what we have. So the next measurement we are going to be taking is the bust measurement. So the bust I'm working with is 40 inches. So 40 divided by 4 will give us 10 inches. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to add. So after doing that, I'm going to come over to the waistline. So the waist I'm working with is 35 inches. 35 divided by 4 will give us 8.75. So I'm going to place my 8.75 here. This line that I have here. So I'm placing my 8.75 here. Then I'll go ahead and add 2 inches to our measurement. This is 2 inches. So after doing that, I'm going to come over to the hip line. So the hip I'm working with is hip 44 inches. So 44 divided by 4 will give us 11 inches. So this is 11 inches. So after getting the 11 inches, I'm going to still be adding 2 inches for the ease and seam allowance. So this is what we have. So on the hem, this is what I'm going to do on the hem. I'm going to measure what I have. What we took for the hip measurement was 11 inches. So on the hem, I'm going to be taking the 11 inches for the hip, and I'll be adding 3 inches to it. I'm going to be adding 3 inches. I want it to be a bit open at the hem. So after adding the 3 inches, I'm going to be connecting what we have here. So I've connected everything together from the hip to the waist and to the bust point. So now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to be cutting what we have here. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be folding the button allowance before I cut. So now I'll be cutting the neck width. So after cutting it, this is what we have. So now the next thing we are going to do, we are going to be folding our fabric again into two to cut out the back. So I folded my fabric into two. As you can see, we are going to be cutting the back of this shirt dress. So the back of this dress is not going to be having any joining. Can you see it? It's not going to be having any joining. So I just placed it on fold. So now we're going to be using the front to cut out the back. But before we cut out the back, I'm going to be explaining something I did about those front parts of this shirt dress. So remember what we brought out for our allowance, for the button allowance, was 2.5 inches. Can you see 2.5 inches? So here is what I did. I added a soft interfacing to that 2.5 inches, and then I went ahead to fold it. Folding it to meet the line. This is the starting line where we took our shoulder measurement. So I folded it. So now after folding it, I'm going to be using it in cutting the back of this dress. So the neck width for the back still remains the same, 2.5. This is the 2.5. So for the neck depth, I'm going to come down with 1 inch. Then I will connect it this way. So after coming down with 1 inch, I'm going to cut it out. So after cutting it to this extent, this is what I am going to do. I'm not going to be cutting the same armhole for the front and the back. No. So here's what I'm going to do. I hope you are following what I'm doing. I'm going to bring down this front part of this dress. So now the difference between the front shoulder and the back shoulder is 3 inches. So when you are cutting your dress, you have to ensure that the back is longer than the front. That's because you are going to be bringing down the front. So this is what we want to achieve. We are going to be folding the shoulder, the back shoulder to the front shoulder like so. When you look at your shirt dress or your normal shirt, you discover that the shoulder from the back is falling to the front. So that is what we're trying to achieve here. So now I'm going to bring it down this way. After bringing it down, then I am going to be cutting the shoulder now. The shoulder from the back to the front. Cut out the back armhole and I came out with 1/2 inch. Remember when we're cutting the front, we came in with 0.75. So now here's what we are going to do. We're going to fold the back to the front this way with 1/2 inch. You can just mark out 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and you fold it to the front. Can you see it? After folding it, I'm going to give here a good press. So this is what I've done. I've given it a good press. So at this point, I'm going to notch this point here. So I have notched it. This is to ensure that the front neckline and the back neckline is equal. So after notching it, I'll open it up. Then from this line that I have here, from this line, I am going to curve it to this point where I notch. We're taking this out. So this is what we have. So at this point now, I'm going to be cutting the dress to the hem. So this is what we have for the back and for the front. So for the back is going to be having a yoke. So the next thing I will do, I'll go ahead and fold the fabric and cut out the yoke for the back. So I've cut out the yoke. This is what I'm going to be using for the yoke. So now we're going to be placing our yoke on the right side of the fabric. This is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side of the fabric. So this is what I am going to do. I'm going to place my yoke this way on this back part. Then I will go ahead and fold it like this. So after folding it, I'm going to be stitching on it this way from one end to the other end. And here is the front of the dress. So here is what we are going to do. So this is the right side of the front. So this right side is going to be what? The buttonhole. While this is the left side of the front, this is where we're going to be placing our button. So I folded it like I said earlier. So what I will do now is I'm going to be stitching on this point here. I'm going to be stitching on it close to the edge from the top to the bottom. And on this right side of this front, this is the front of our dress, of the shirt. So what I will do is this. I'm going to be placing 2 stitches here. So I'm going to be stitching on it using 0.25 from the top to the bottom. After stitching on it, I will go ahead and open it up and create another stitch here with 0.25. This is actually optional. You can decide to do what? Just create 1 stitch here. It depends on how you want to style the front of your shirt. So but this is how I want to style the front of my shirt. So after stitching on the yoke, this is what it looks like. Can you see it for the back of the shirt? And for the front, I've gone ahead to stitch on the button and the buttonhole allowance. Can you see it? So I've stitched on it and I pressed on it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join the shoulders together. So I'm going to be placing it together on the shoulder point. So here is what I'm going to do. This shirt is going to be having a collar. So after placing it like this, I'm going to pick the yoke. This is the yoke. I'm going to be turning it with this yoke this way. So now after turning it this way, I will sew on it using 1/2 inch and sew to the end. So for this other side, I'll be doing the same thing. I'll place it right side facing each other. Then I'm going to be turning it with the yoke. I'm going to be sewing on it using 1/2 inch. So after joining the shoulder together, this is what we have. I've joined the shoulder. So the next thing we have to do at this point is to cut out the sleeve for this shirt dress. So I've gone ahead also to cut out a basic sleeve. I have already a video on my channel on how to cut a basic sleeve. So if you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, kindly check that video up. So the length of the sleeve is 8 inches. I cut out 9 inches because I'll be needing 1/2 inch to join to the shoulder and 1/2 inch to join to the flare. So this particular basic sleeve is going to be having a 2-step flare. So that's why I left another 1/2 inch to join to the flare at the hem. The round sleeve I'm working with is 13 inches. So 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So now I'm going to be using the round sleeve to cut out the flare. So now 13 divided by 6.28, which is what we normally use to cut out our 360-degree flare, will give me 2.0. So I'm going to fold my fabric into 2. I've done that already. And I'll fold it again into 2 to make it into 4 folds. So now after folding it into 4, I'm going to be taking the radius. So the radius I'm working with, I said, is 2.0, but I'll be taking 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So after taking the 1.5, I will go ahead and take 5.5 inches. Everything I took here is 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches. Then I will connect what I have here. So when I remove this 1.5 from this 7 inches, I'll be left with 5.5 inches. This is the 5.5 inches. So now I'm going to cut it out. So this is what we have for one of the sleeve. I've already gone ahead to cut out for the other. So for the other flare, I've cut it out already. This is what we have, and I said it's going to be having a 2-step flare. So I've also cut out the one for the first step. I cut out 7.5 inches, and for the second flare I cut out 5.5 inches. So this is how it's going to look like when I attach it to the sleeve. This is how it's going to look like on the sleeve. 2-step flare on a basic sleeve. So now at this point we're going to be sewing downwards our sleeve. So I'll get my fabric. This is my fabric. I'm going to be attaching my sleeve to the fabric. This is the back. From the back I will take it to the front till I get to the end. I will do the same thing for the other side. Then I'm going to be using 1 inch for the seam allowance on the sleeve. After doing that, I'll be attaching the flare to the basic sleeve. So after fixing the sleeve, this is what we have for the sleeve. This is what it's looking like. I've also gone ahead to join it on both sides. Remember what I added for the seam allowance was 1 inch. I've joined it on both sides. So now what we have to do next is to fix the collar. So I'm going to be fixing a bishop collar on this shirt. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be measuring the neckline, what we have on the neckline. So I'm going to take my tape this way and measure this neckline, what I have here. So after measuring it, what I have is 17.25. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out my collar. That I have done already. So I have a video on my channel on how to cut a bishop collar. So if you don't know how to cut a bishop collar, kindly check on my channel on how to cut a bishop collar. So I've done that already. So at this point, I'm going to get my leftover fabric. This is what I have left from the 3 yards we've been working with. So I'll fold it into 2, and I'm going to do place my collar this way on it, and I'll give it a good press. So I have ironed the collar stay to the fabric, and now I'm going to be cutting on it. So while cutting on it, I'm going to be leaving 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom for the folding of this collar. So after cutting it, I'm going to be pick one of these pieces and fold it this way. I'm going to get my iron and give it a good press to secure it. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to be sewing on this collar just by the side of this collar stay. I will sew on it round till I get to this point. Then after doing that, I will trim up the excesses and then turn it. After turning the collar, this is what we have. So now at this point, I'm going to get the shirt, and we're going to be fixing it on the shirt. I'm going to fix my collar from the wrong side to the right side of the shirt. So I will pin it down and go to my machine, and we'll be using the 1/2 inch I left to sew on it till I get to the end. Then after fixing it, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the final outcome of our shirt dress. Can you see how lovely it is looking? So simple and easy. I actually love the feeling of this shirt dress on the body. It's not too fitted and not too loose. I just love the way it is looking on the body. Yes, I like the feeling of it on the body. So this is what we have. I also went ahead to add an inseam pocket to it. Yes, I'm sure you can see it. So this is what we have for our shirt dress. All right guys, so please, if you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Like and share this video, make your comments. Till our next tutorial again, I'll be doing something else. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.